welcome to Tune Team. Now, my Poppy here may just give you a clue as to what our challenge is this week.
Yes, it is Remembrance Sunday and we've come to the new Tabernacle Chapel in Merthyr Tydfil where the challenge has already begun. In fact, our composer for this week has prepared a piece of music for the Salvation Army to perform later during the ceremony at the cenotaph. This is a first draft of the music that's been prepared for this challenge, which has been set by Lance Corporal Darren Taylor of the Royal Welsh Fusiliers.
My great-great-grandfather, John Collins, was a member of the 25th Battalion Royal Welsh Fusiliers, and he won the VC.
And you've followed very much in his footsteps?
Yeah, joining the 1st Battalion, yeah, after my grandfather telling me, you know, the story of my great-grandfather, so, yes, it seemed the right thing to do, so I just did it.
Now, I understand you want us, a Tune Team, to compose a special piece of music. Tell me why.
Well, not only for the bands to play in the future, but for, you know, a little bit of my great-grandfather, so people can remember him by, because not many people know that he is the only VC winner in Merthyr, so yeah, for future reference and things.
John Collins was awarded the Victoria Cross, a medal representing the highest award for outstanding bravery in Palestine during the First World War. He was fortunate enough to return from that war, unlike many of his comrades who are remembered each year at memorial services throughout the land. The Salvation Army are performing the piece which has been composed especially for Tune Team at this ceremony of remembrance.
We will remember them.
Soldiers, sailors and airmen of many regiments, but all from Merthyr, are remembered at a special garden in the town. It's here that our composer, John Hardy, or Dr. Music as we like to call him, has come to research military music, and he's met Arthur Griffiths, a former soldier who served with the Royal Welsh Fusiliers.
What sort of speed would a typical march that would be appropriate for Remembrance Time be?
Respectful march would be just about 18-90 paces to the minute.
Really? You used to know it by the number of paces to the minute, did you? That's interesting.
Yes, yeah.
80 or 90, 90, that's... That'd be too bouncy, do you think?
No, that'd be fine. That'd be fine. Yeah.
One of John Collins' daughters still lives in Merthyr, so I paid Agnes a visit to get an insight into the man.
My father was marvellous. He'd help anybody out. I never forget him. If the kids come in, he'd throw the medals on the floor and he'd play with them.
The medal he was awarded is the highest award you can get.
No, never talked about it.
But he must have been proud of it.
Well, we were all proud of it, but he never... It was just a thing to him, I don't know.
So, how nice do you think it'll be to have a piece of music to commemorate your
Very
father?
nice. Very nice. Perhaps he's listening to me now.
I felt very privileged that Agnes showed me a copy of her father's Victoria Cross. All the original medals are made from the barrel of a single cannon that was captured during the Crimean War.
I'm looking for inspiration in the streets of the oldest surviving area of Merthyr. I'm starting to feel it would make sense to end my piece by quoting from the last post. The bugle solo which precedes the 2-minute silence on Remembrance Sunday.
Well, we've had a couple of days to think about it, and there's a lot going on in John Hardy's mind at the moment, isn't there always? But this has to be a very special piece of music, not only to commemorate all of those who gave of their lives in the wars, but it's concentrating on one individual in particular, John Collins, who is only one of 14 soldiers to receive the Victoria Cross in the whole history of the Royal Welsh Fusiliers. So it really does have to be very special, and I'm hoping that a little cup of tea in John Hardy's very special pot here will get his creative juices flowing. So what's going through your mind? That's lovely.
Well, I think this sort of sad but noble thing, and the comradeship and the departed friends and everything, that seems to be going in the right direction. But the big question I've got is that enough? Does there need to be something more, not exactly jolly, but more sort of rousing? Yeah, uplifting. I mean, what's the most crucial element here? Is it the man? Is it the deeds? Is it the remembrance, time of year?
Well, that's why it's so difficult, because it's all of that.
Mm. It is, yeah.
It's not, that's why it's such a challenge for you, I suppose, isn't it? I tell you what.
I don't think I'm playing it quite right.
Look, I made you this tea in your special teapot.
Oh.
I was hoping it might get the juices, the
teapot?
creative juices going. You've got a special teapot made like a piano.
Oh, that one?
Yes.
That's supposed to be an ornament, man. That was a present from Edward Jones.
Was it?
We usually associate the First World War with the horrors of the Western Front, but John Collins won his VC in Palestine, part of the conflict the three of us know little about. To find out more, we've come here to London.
Well, the Imperial War Museum have very kindly allowed us into their archive, so it's a very exciting moment for us. Look at the vehicles out there.
Why do they look just like ordinary cars?
Yeah.
No road. There's actually no road there, is there?
No. It's just never ending.
The thing we saw earlier said that their vehicles were constantly breaking down. Their guns didn't work. It's difficult to imagine what it must have been like for them, but the conditions must have been impossible. Fighting people that they didn't know anything about. Apart from the fact that they were very good fighters, it must have been absolutely terrifying.
Why would coming here be useful to you, John?
Well, I can't say that it helps me to write the notes exactly, but it does give kind of background and inspiration, and particularly to try and imagine the lives that those people in this First World War must have been living.
The museum has provoked a personal connection for John, as a field gun from the conflict in the Middle East has reminded him of his great-uncle, who also served during the same campaign as John Collins.
Now, what was your great-uncle's role? Which battalion was he?
I can't remember what regiment it's in.
I'm putting you on the spot now.
You are. But
Sorry.
I know that he was in that part of the world. I know he was killed in action. I know he'd won a medal earlier in the war. But I'm going to have to find out more.
On his way home, John has stopped off in Bath to see his sister. She's been collecting an archive of their great-uncle. He made many drawings and paintings and wrote letters from the trenches of the First World War.
Yeah, up the Persian Gulf to Shatt al Arab, and then following the line of the River Tigris, past Al Amara, where he did some of his paintings and his sketches, up to Kut, which is what they were fighting the Turks to gain control of, and that's where he was killed. There's quite a few pictures of camp life and digging trenches.
And was this immediately after he'd been on the Western Front?
No,
fighting Germans?
After the Western Front, after the action which won him the Military Cross, he was retired to a hospital with shell shock, and he didn't actually rejoin the action or rejoin an expeditionary force until October of the same year. That was 1916.
Dear Mrs. Scott, it is with the utmost regret that I write to you about the death of your nephew, 2nd Lieutenant G. Seauday. He was commanding No. 4 Company, the left of the battalion, in an attack on the Turkish line on Friday the 9th of February. How old was he?
31.
We've actually arrived at the headquarters of the Royal Welsh Fusiliers in Shropshire, and we're going to have to stop at the gate now, and they're going to have to check our credentials, because obviously we can't just move straight ahead.
Also, can't resist a man in uniform. That's a bonus.
There we are. We're through. Barriers up.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. So how do you find out about the Royal Welsh Fusiliers and army life? I went and asked the Major. What does it mean to be a Royal Welsh Fusilier?
We are the senior infantry regiment of Wales. We've been going for over 300 years now, and we've got an awful lot of customs and heritage and tradition which we're very proud of. And we've got some 14 VC winners we've had in the battalion over the years, with some 144 battle honours over that prolific 300 years of our history.
How do you in the army look upon VC winners?
Well, I think not just the battalion, but the whole British Army. I mean, VC winners, I mean, that's the ultimate. That is, you know, if you like, your gold medal for the Olympics. I mean, you're somebody who's given your true valour and courage and thought not about yourself, but about your comrades and the job that's got to be done. And some have paid the ultimate sacrifice and given their life for that. Well, obviously you're aware of Jack Collins, who Darren has already talked to you about, his great-great-grandfather, and he was a VC winner in Palestine. And again, a very brave man, was withdrawing injured men throughout the battle during the day, and then went forward to take a machine gun post, and hand-to-hand fought and killed 15 of the enemy. I mean, that's quite an achievement by anybody's standards, and actually lived through the conflict, and I think he lived till 1951 before he died.
No, I'm not here very long, but I'd like to experience a little bit of army life. What do you suggest?
Well, I suggest, first of all, Roger, we go outside and we'll get you into some suitable attire, and then we'll take you on a little bit of training.
After you.
Come on.
I can't believe he's got me doing an assault coat. Can I just say, it's sub-zero temperatures. This is like a completely brave thing to do. I've always wanted to know what you look like with a beard. No one would see you, baby. They think you're a tree or a leaf or something.
Tune team discovered another great-grandson of John Collins, and coincidentally, he's also joined the regiment. We brought Darren and his cousin Fusilier Craig Holpin to the assault course with us. Best of luck, chaps.
I should have called my mum.
Can you come in there, please? I'm going to set you off. 10-second intervals, okay? Attack all the obstacles. Remember what you've been told, especially you two. And then we're going to go over every obstacle Okay, listen, the gents and ladies, stand by. Go! Straight up over your stand by. Go! All right, lead off. Underneath the choke. Let's go, guys. Again, in and out. Okay, backside down, head down. Arm over arm. Come on, Joe. We're up, bring the traps up all nice. Bring those legs over. And again. Big jump. Big jump. Come here. Go on. I'm running round. Come here, down here. Get it on you. Up over them. Well, I'm not going to keep going. 2-foot landing. 2-foot landing. Well done. Keep going over, Welch. Feet up. That's it. Keep it going. Keep it going. You fall off. You do it again. Hurry up. You do it again. Get across. That's it. Let's go. Let's go. If you fall off, you're going to go again. Go there, Joe. Squad. Hold on that. Go for it. Finish. Come on, all in.
Hey, where were you guys? Where were you?
All right, Darren, Craig, how long have you known each other?
Not very long, actually, since we had the nod of the regiment that you're going to be coming doing this programme, so... And then that's when we found out that we were distant cousins, really.
Who's taking you? How old are you?
I'm 23.
20. 20. So it's taken you this long to find out that you're cousins?
Big family, innit?
Let's get on to the art of the matter, lad. I think it was makeup.
I feel ridiculous that I'm trying to chat here to the boys, and Josie's made me look like this.
Anyway, I don't know about you, but I'm going to have another go on the assault course.
Okay,
You're not.
I had such a laugh.
John's having a different experience to us on our day out at the barracks. He's on a mission to find a band for the performance.
Hello, are you Captain Barnwell?
Yes, I am, yeah.
I'm John Hardy. I'd like to speak to you
pleased
about
to meet
your band and possibility of working with you. Are you
That's
available?
Fine. No, that's
Sorry
fine,
to
yeah.
disturb you.
Okay, can you carry on as an ensemble, following the leader, lead into 144?
It's a bit complicated. It's to do with the Victoria Cross.
Yes.
And his great-great-grandson, Corporal Darren Taylor, is in the Royal Welsh Fusiliers.
That's right, here. They're
Station here.
That's the infantry battalion stationed here.
Yeah.
They're our hosts. Funnily enough, if you're looking for a band to lend support in that, guys, then we're the most appropriate because we're their affiliated band.
What about somewhere to perform?
Well, there are various locations within the camp.
Do you ever perform in places like?
Oh yes, we have
like
done,
this?
yeah. Go on tours, Kosovo and Bosnia, very short tours, the aim of which really are to provide morale boosting performance for the troops. We don't always use the full band, obviously we're very diverse and very flexible.
So what do they do? Do they sort of come in and sit down somewhere, or do they stand and listen?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I mean, you've got vehicles here at the moment. They would sit on the top,
really,
or hang around the side. Yeah, and we just go
Amazing.
into a performance and entertainment. Because they're there doing a job. They're peacekeeping. We're there just to give them a little bit of morale and support. But operationally, we're all trained medics, and we provide direct support. Not necessarily
trained medics.
That's correct.
What, doctors?
Yeah. No. Very good first aid, high standard of first aid, if you like.
Like paramedics, ambulance?
To provide immediate aid where it's needed. And
How
of course,
would you feel if there was a little bit of vocal involvement?
We are a male voice choir, and it's unique to the two bands of the Prince of Wales's division, simply because 2 of the 7 regiments I mentioned are Welsh, and of course they recruit from the land of song. So we as a band try to uphold their long-standing traditions.
But they wouldn't do both in the same concert, would they? Would they sometimes?
We do, but obviously you can't have your cake and eat it. We either play as a band or we sing as a choir.
Well, you've got the band, John. Nice try at getting a male voice choir thrown in too. You win some, you lose some.
Sounds very nice.
Oh yeah.
How's it going?
Okay, I mean, I'm sort of trying out the musical ideas as they might be for a military band. That's with woodwind as well as brass instruments.
Now, I haven't
But-
seen you since the barracks.
Yeah,
Because we both
barrack,
had
yeah.
different experiences there.
I liked it. I love the players.
Where do you want this performed?
Do you remember that conversation in a smaller hangar? That was an interesting space, and there was a lorry in there and stuff. Do you remember?
Yeah.
With the director of music, and but there was another hangar there. At least there's one of that, maybe even more than one. There was even bigger than that and more empty. So it looked like an enormous concert venue of some kind.
How about voices? I know we discussed that in the past.
Well, I have been wondering about that young lady who sang in the Remembrance service in Tabernacle in Merthyr.
Beautiful voice.
Can you remember her name?
I'm normally good with names. Oh,
So
I
many
feel
things that happen in that
I
service.
Well, we can find out.
We can find out. Shall I see if I can find out more about her and whether she might be interested and available and...
Excellent. I'm
all
sure
that?
she would be. No, she had a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
A kind of sweet, innocent sort of voice. That. All right, you do that.
I'll try and get hold of the Reverend Prothero.
Right, and I will contact Major Ravenhill and ask him if he's got a spare hanger.
The phone calls have paid off. The Major has found us a wonderful hangar. The Mayor of Merthyr, the Reverend Prothero of the Tabernacle Chapel, and Arthur from the British Legion have all come up, and they've brought Zoe Perman with them. John has decided to use Welsh lyrics as they feel the most appropriate way to convey the human feeling of family and longing. Zoe is seeing them for the first time today and rehearsing with John only half an hour before the band are due to join them here for the performance of the piece.
When John turned up this morning and we were looking at it, at first to us it was new, so I felt we were just playing it rather than performing it. We've now rehearsed it, played it a few times. Both myself and the musicians are getting an idea now, a real good idea of what it's all about, and I feel that we're now putting on a performance and it takes on a whole new meaning, and I think it actually captures the spirit of what he was set out to achieve perfectly. There's a military feel to it, and with that distant memory type feel, with the drum in the background, and this almost reverence, this church-like feel to it as well. So it feels very somber and it feels very sorry, but there's a sense there of achievement, of bravery, men who've gone into the fray and paid the ultimate sacrifice. And I think he's captured it wonderfully. We're thinking about Remembrance Day and what this piece is trying to portray about one particular person as well, and many others who have actually done that achievement as well. No, it's perfect.
I'm looking forward to hearing this.
Come on, Darren, they're about to start.
Well, Darren, you're speechless.
Definitely, absolutely fantastic piece of music that's been written. I didn't really think that the team could produce such a good piece of music, but the band played it very well, and yeah, fantastic.
You telling me you had a doubt in your mind about us?
No, I'm joking.
So did it give that feeling that you talked about when we first met, you know, about something that raises the hair on the back of your neck?
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely put a lump in my throat, anyway, certainly.
It was high emotion, John. It got everybody here. Everybody loved it, but did you?
I had a whale of a time. I got everything I wanted.
You did get everything you wanted. You got the hangar, you got the military band, you got Zoe from Merthyr, and you got a grand piano. What more could you want?
Well, you know, we talked about the choral option.
No, not the
Yeah.
male voice choir.
Guess what?
You got it.
Yeah, they did a take, and it was beautiful.
There's no stopping Doctor Music.
And there's no limits to Tune Team.